Hey yo, what is going on with the viewers of the tube? My name is Tyler and I'd kindly like to welcome you to the crypto channel that warms your heart better than this cover of Rage Against the Machine.
Someone threw in the forces on the scene one of crosses. Someone threw in the forces on the scene one of crosses. Told ya. Can do it, told ya. Can do it, told ya. Can do it, told ya.
Those who died are justified for wearing the badge. They're the chosen whites. It's time for Chico Crypto. Well, I said I was going to dig deeper into the coming digital identity and hyper-focus on a critical branch of the newest global movement. We have dug into most of the important pieces of the digital identity: ID 2020, Gavi Alliance, Microsoft, Bill Gates, Digital Identity Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, OpenID Foundation, and even MasterCard. But there is the ringleader of this all, who we have just scratched the surface on. They sit on the board of directors, and she is a very powerful woman. This is Blythe Masters. As we can see from her ID 2020 profile, she is the CEO of Digital Asset Holdings Company. Not she was the CEO, as many people are confused to this day about her involvement. Well, ID 2020 might need to update their information, as in December of 2018, she did step down from the CEO position. And then in March of last year, Yuval Ruz was named as the new CEO of Digital Asset. But her CEO role is sticking around even with larger databases, like that from the Better Business Bureau. As we can see, they still have Blythe registered as head of business management, their principal contact, and the title of CEO. I wonder why this is. It must be because she is still involved, right? Of course she is. From one of the latest blockchain articles on Blythe, Blythe Masters, former digital asset CEO, proposed as Maersk director. In the article, at Monday's annual general meeting of Maersk, Blythe Masters will be proposed as a board director. Along with IBM, Maersk owns the TradeLens blockchain container management solution, which includes 5 of the top 6 ocean carriers. Interesting move, I must say, but in the article it goes deeper into her involvement with Digital Asset. Under Masters' leadership, Digital Asset raised $110 million with a high-profile list of investors that included Broadridge, Citi, DTCC, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and technology companies IBM and Accenture. She is still a board member and advisor, and also chaired Hyperledger for 3 years, which Digital Asset was involved in founding. Board member still? Yep, confirmation by Bloomberg's profile on Digital Asset. There she is right there. And you founded Hyperledger, Blythe? You mean you bought? This 2015 Bloomberg magazine article tells it like it is. Blythe Masters blockchain startup makes 2 acquisitions. The company bought San Francisco-based Hyperledger and Budapest-based Bits of Proof for undisclosed amounts. So when the fudders try to say Blythe has no say in Digital Asset or Hyperledger, you are kidding yourself. She is the founder of Digital Asset, aka a large owner, has a board seat, and bought Hyperledger back in 2015. The move she made with Maersk and their board of directors is a solid move for Digital Asset, as they tie right back to an open source project which has a focus on supply chains and ERP systems, the Baseline Protocol. So as we know, Unibright has been surging since their involvement with Baseline was revealed by me. And then I was copied by the YouTube Crypto Shill Army. And let's hear what these copy kids had to say during a discussion about Unibright.
That's why, every company is working side by side with Chainlink and other projects like VeChain, etc.
Yeah, they mentioned VeChain. Yikes. beware. But if you want the real deal Holyfield, let's begin. The connections to Baseline and digital asset and Blythe comes from Unibright. I have shown this before, but Unibright is a partner of theirs, which was leaked in June of last year when Stefan Schmidt presented Unibright and DAML smart contract integration. Then confirmed in November when Digital Asset released their own blog post about the partnership and integration. So Baseline is big news, and Digital Asset is big news for UBT, but I'm not like those other guys. I'm not going to bring you good news after good news, 200x, 100x. Let's dig into the dark side of what could be going on by getting based. What about those digital IDs? Well, Unibright's Stefan Schmidt just a few days ago dropped some info in their Telegram group. He said, speaking of integration, we are also working on a public showcase with Digital Asset, showing an SAP integration with the Unibright connector, and in a second stage visual definition and DAML code generation for an RFQ process. By the end of the week, we will also dive deeper into possible engagement in different groups and consortia around digital identities, a subject that has often crossed our way recently, especially around free equity. So right there, we know Baseline is looking to create a working group for digital IDs within the Baseline protocol. I wonder why. Well, let's just dig into the Baseline GitHub and go to issues. Scrolling down to number 92, opened 26 days ago. COVID test result, Baseline. What is that? Well, old Johnny Wolpert, he explains it. A group of companies on the SSC in healthcare and individuals, like something I can't pronounce, have committed to building a proof of principle in a week to show the feasibility of taking medical test results such as COVID-19 testing and baselining the data with the lab, provider, and the individual, such that the individual can use a personal password manager like 1Password to store the baseline proof and the relevant test data, so that one can prove a verified attestation of the result to a variety of services, such as perhaps getting a ticket to a concert without having to connect the lab or provider with the concert provider. Yeah, kind of scary. We may need our medical results to prove our immunity or vaccine taken to the virus just to go to a concert, which John mentions down a little further, like Coachella. Now say the patient wants to go to Coachella 2021 and their new policy is you need to have shown that you actually had COVID and recovered for more than N weeks or month prior to the event. Imagining a scenario where an event would only want to admit post-symptomatic positives because they are sure to be immune and no longer shedding virus. The patient goes to Coachella's website and provides the baseline proof from 1Password. Here's another wrinkle from the Radish34 example. Here we want a method to bring the Coachella system into the baseline in such a way that they only get a subset of the data that is baselined between the patient and the clinic. And here's where it gets interesting. Or another approach would be to set things up in such a way that 1Password messages Coachella with a name ID and the material result is positive, date is XYZ, that can be checked against a baseline to confirm authenticity without having to get the clinic or other healthcare providers involved. Oh, so yeah, we know what's going on, Johnny. But this thread has so much more juicy stuff. John says, one of the things some of us agreed in a conversation with Rouven was to support in the specification DID compliance. I will say that this conjecture above about a use for baselining is a little uncomfortably close to the standard case for digital identity. That said, we're still waiting for that. So why not give this a try and see if it sticks? DID, you mean the Decentralized Identity specification being built by Microsoft. Ion, which is the Bitcoin version, and Element is the Ethereum version. Well, guess what? Rouven, who John was speaking to, is a part of Consensys, of which is a founder of Baseline. What does he do at Consensys? From his LinkedIn, Digital Identity. And look below, he is also Executive Director at the Digital Identity Foundation, the DIF, which connects to last week's video oh so nicely. Last week we hyper-focused on Microsoft, their ID players, including Daniel Buckner, Pamela Dingle, and Kim Cameron. We found out Daniel, Senior PM of Decentralized Identity Foundation, was working 5 frickin' days a week on DID. And guess what? Daniel was the Executive Director at the DIF, of which he helped create, and Rouven took his spot. Again, why so connected, everyone? But we need to get back to what John first said, the reason for the work being done on the Baseline GitHub for COVID testing. John said a group of companies on the SSC in healthcare and individuals like a name I can't pronounce have committed to building a proof of principle in a week. Well, the SSC stands for the Specification Steering Committee of the Baseline Protocol. As we can see, the Baseline community projects are the SSC's way of managing specific objectives for the Baseline Protocol initiative. SSC members commit themselves to one or more of these, while others may do the development and task work. An SSC member commits to articulating and prioritizing the work, identifying community members and others who can do the work, and using whatever incentive structure is available or whatever influence one has to help ensure the work gets done. So who from the SSC wants this COVID testing type thing done? John said a group of companies from the SSC in healthcare. So who from the SSC steering committee could point us in the right direction? Well, Bill Gleim of Consensys Health sounds about right, but also there is Stefan Bauer of Kaiser Permanente. Well, first let's focus on Bill Gleim. From his LinkedIn, he is the CTO of Consensys Health. But looky there, he is also a part of the EEA as a founding member. But look at his activities. He posted this, that the Stop COVID Hackathon just added Vitalik Buterin as a judge. Yeah, Consensys Health, of which he is leading, started a hackathon to get tools built for COVID tracking, which began April 13th and is still going on until May 11th, when the winners will be announced May 18th. So remember, the SSC of which Bill is a part of uses all the tools at his disposal or incentive structures to ensure the work gets done. This is exactly that, tools being built from Bill's influence for the COVID baseline tracking. Pretty sneaky, huh? But you need more confirmation that this is that, and they even have Ethereum's founder helping out with it all. Look at who is supplying the first prize for the hackathon, KPMG, Kaiser Permanente Medical Group, of which Stefan Bauer is a part of, and is on the steering committee of the Baseline's SSC. And guess what? Stefan retweeted something of Johnny Wolpert's with "I totally agree." Johnny said, citizens lack a unique online identifier. This is helping fraudsters to steal nearly 50 billion worth of government services every year in the UK. Blockchain's first revolutionary product could be online ID. Digital IDs, they are coming and they will be connected to the virus testing and immunity results. It's being built open source by a bunch of developers who don't even know what they are contributing to. Spokes in the wheels of control. So when you hear Mr. Gates speaking of these,
so eventually there will be sort of this digital immunity proof that will help facilitate the global reopening up.
The truth hurts when it's right there. Cheers, I'll see you next time.